Good morning, Dave Snyder here. It is July the 10th, 2015, and I just have a couple things to point out here about that weather that I showed you yesterday in the Ring of Fire video. You can see in Africa that this kind of draws out a whole different history of the Earth. You know what I mean? The weather does, and you can see this right here. See this pattern? It curves around the top right here. Has this little cut in the corner. These two little spots are here, and it comes down to like this point right here, right? And you can see the same exact pattern in this right here. You see this spot here, it comes into the corner. Watch. See that little cut right here in Africa, how it comes to this point right here? It's the same exact weather pattern as you see over that land matches perfectly. You can see the cut here a little bit, that line a little bit, but it is the same weather. Absolutely. So that puts like California. Wow, right over there at Shasta. Oh, that puts Mount Shasta right there where that big mountain is. I bet it's the same. Oh wow, look at that weather. Right, see the spot right in the middle? Right over the top of that. That's the same thing. California right in that spot. Ooh, that's weird. Find that very interesting. How many different ways you can move this around, and then you got this other part of North America that'll fit right along this curve too, which is right up here. I titled it Hudson. I'd have to readjust it to do that. I'm going to do that real quick, show you. Right here, like this. Maybe this is a little too big. See that right there writes a whole new history of Egypt and Africa and our history of the past. It absolutely does when you see that kind of stuff like that, because that goes together. I'll just leave that there for now. I don't want to go too far into that, but that right there is just something else. You see there's the fault line like I pointed out yesterday. It's just a little over to the side now, but you know that it all moves, so that goes together. That curve. I could probably get a little bit better in there. I just kind of threw it up there just to show you. Nope, that threw it off there. I'll cancel it. But you see that, right? That's interesting. You know how they talk about how it had different weather in the Sahara Desert and all that stuff at one time, and how the Sphinx was eroded by rain and all that. Well, there you go. There you go. They were in the same place. Africa must have been in the same place as the Western United States is in today. It had to be in the same place at one time, or they were over the top of each other. You take your pick. I'm sure you're going to pick the one where they were in the same spot, probably, because no one wants to go there where they might have been over the top of each other at one time. You know, volcanoes build themselves in layers a lot. You know, big massive eruptions would cool down, and the continent would harden, and it would erupt again at some point and create another layer maybe on top of that hardened layer, and it would not be a solid bond. You know what I mean? They could break apart that way pretty easily, I would imagine. I'm just guessing on that. You know what I mean? But there you go. That's there. That is absolutely there, showing that there's probably. This weather's probably showing the fault line that's over here. It might be from a little bit over this way or something. You know, the weather's not always right over the top of the spot where it is created, but the weather shows the history. You got a Yellowstone in this area right there. But you definitely see that little corner cut out. I just find it interesting. I go through these things like this, and I just go through it, and I find more and more just simple. You know, it's real simple to do. It just goes pretty easy. I never have to try more than one time. You know, it's just right there every time. Every time. So, anyways, try that out. Start putting the weather. Save this picture of Africa from the internet off of Google Images. Get that picture of Africa. And start saving the weather from North America and putting it over Africa. You'll get a different history of Africa. And like I pointed out yesterday, the Mexico and this area right here go together. So when you got pyramids being built in Egypt, and you got pyramids being built in Mexico, right? And they're right there. They've been together like that at one point in time. They were created either in the same place or together on top of each other. That just tells me that puts it together. Those people built pyramids for the same reasons, because they knew. I mean, they were together at one time. The Egyptians have some kind of relation. Definitely have some kind of relation to the Mexicans that built, or I guess the Mayans, not the Mexicans, the Mayans, I should say. Definitely had a relationship with the Egyptians. They were the same people. I mean, they have a bloodline tied to them. There's definitely a bloodline between the Mayans and the Egyptians, definitely, because they both built pyramids. And they were definitely together at one time, I would say. That's my theory. Because it all goes together that way. You put the earth together, you just start to see that. You know what I mean? It's just, there's no question. South America also would have been over here somewhere at one time by Australia, where people came from Asia. Asia would have been over here too. You know, it all moved around together, so they all come from the same, places. I don't know about white people. They must have come from the moon. You think about it. I don't know. Maybe not. There's the Philippines, right in this area. Which is, I believe all these islands are created, you know, the Philippines and the Indonesia are all created after the continents move off the top and expose the hot spots to create new islands. And they'll eventually become, maybe they'll become continents again. I don't know. The Earth has shifted to a different place or something, so it's changing all the time, so you never know. Okay, have a good day. Hope you understand what I was trying to show you there. I'm sure you do. Have a good day.